Welcome home, Raiders. This week, LFR Wing 2 opens and people are dying. Oh no, the new year is coming and Blizzard has some grand plans, including what might be pay to win. This is CTR 166.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for raiders in the world of Warcraft.
The Convert to Raid podcast power station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is December 21st, and happy holidays to everybody out there. It is right now, it is 11:20 a.m. A little bit of a late start. Oh boy. This is a little bit of a late start today. That's right. Thanks for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land. My name is Pat Crane. I'm the host of this little shindig. It's true. There we go. And I am raiding with my Resto Druid. I'm back to raiding with my Resto Druid, which is really good. So, yeah, that's good. All right, the players are here. Let's get to them. First up, we have from sleepy Seattle, probably, it's Darius.
It's more sickly Seattle, I'd say.
Oh, sickly Seattle.
I got really sick last Friday on my birthday and missed the show and everything, and I'm just now getting over that, so...
Well,
sickly Seattle.
Well, feel better, buddy. And in the meantime, we'll go out to L.A., to La La Land, to Hollywood, California.
That makes it worse.
To the Funky Monk. It is Coltrane.
Fortune cookie say.
Oh, no.
I feel a coughing fit.
A German DPS works hard to kielbasa. Eh? It's kielbasa, but it's like the German sausage kielbasa, but it's kielbas. Huh? What? Come on, no, nothing.
Show's over.
Kielbasa.
Show's over. No, it's not.
I don't know. I'm seeing 10 out of 10.
No, it's not.
I'm also seeing an I don't get it.
Right. If you were from Wisconsin, you would totally get that.
What?
I thought kielbasa was Polish,
Kielbasa.
not German.
No, it's like a kielbasa.
For me, it's across the border. You go across the border
gosh.
to Wisconsin and you grab some kielbasa. It's really great over there.
You
All that
know,
kind of
it's
stuff.
not my fault if you guys don't have culture in your lives, if you're not aware of the various sausages around the world. Well, that was
Right.
sent in by Paleon, a Worgen hunter on Gorgonash. So thank you very much, sir.
That's
There was
awesome.
last week on my birthday that sent me a fortune cookie.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Maybe that's why I got sick.
Maybe.
Mm.
Maybe. Well,
Cookies on my birthday.
Darius, welcome back to the show, and happy birthday. If you didn't hear last week's show, we did wish you a happy birthday.
I don't listen to this show,
No, I don't listen to it at all. Neither do I.
especially when that Derevka guy is on.
Right.
He's a
exactly.
priest.
He is. And happy holidays to everybody out there. Let's talk a little bit about WoW and what's been going on this week. And Coltrane, let's start with you, buddy. What has been going on with you this week?
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. I'm doing great. Did a little bit of raiding. Really, really digging the Highmaul raid scene. Really enjoying raiding and having a really good time on my monk named Wok Fu.
Oh, there we go.
Wok Fu. Yes. All right. I'll take.
I forgot to turn the music back up. That's all right.
I got you. I'll
That's
take it
right.
at low volume. It's totally fine. But I've been doing a little bit of that. And believe it or not, logged on with Tor Rage and Epic Medic last night and did a little PvP.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
Did a little PvP.
Really?
And then Lore
Yeah.
streamed last night and he was doing PvP on his monk. So he got me all fired up for PvP. And now I'm kind of into it. I'm actually considering getting rid of my inn and my garrison and bringing in the Gladiator Sanctum. Because I hear you can get some PvP gear pretty easily that way.
Yeah. That's what I did for my hunter. I put in the gladiator thing, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna PvP. If I'm gonna PvP on any tune, it's probably gonna be the hunter.
Right.
But
right.
now I think I have to do that on the druid as well because I need, more upgrades. Need more upgrades.
Where's Halinka? He's smiling right now.
I know, but it's a lot.
Wait, hold on a sec. For Halinka, here's this. You down with PvP? Yeah, you know me. You down with PvP? Yeah, you know me. You down with PvP?
Yeah.
Who's down with PvP? Yeah.
I
All
am
right.
down with PvP. Now, real quick, a couple questions that were asked in Lore's stream. Best way to gear up in PvP? They're saying Battlegrounds. You get a nice little little package at the end. Great way to gear up in PvP, do those BGs. But I found the greatest thing last night that I've ever seen in World of Warcraft, like pretty much ever. And there's a new feature in the bank. Now, a lot of you may know this, but some of you may not. And this changed my life.
Oh, boy.
All right?
Okay.
This is like as good as getting the Master Plan add-on or Garrison Mission Manager.
Okay.
It's that big.
Okay.
Go to your bank. Turn off your bag add-on. I guarantee you've got one, right? We've all got one, right?
Right.
Turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
In the default UI, there is a new tab called Deposit All Reagents.
Right.
Reagents.
Where have you been?
Reagents. Well, I'm telling you, I hit that thing and I went from having one space in my bags to having 40. It blew my mind. You get an entire tab for all your regions. Now, I know all of you out there are like, duh, Coltrane, everyone knows that. Well, guess what? Last night in Mumble, like 15 people didn't know about it, which is why I'm sharing it right now. So Deposit All Reagents will change your life. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Gotta try it.
It's totally cool.
You have to try it.
Unless, of course, you're like an alchemist or something like that, where you need those things to make other things, and then you're like, "Oh crap! Everything just went into the reagent bank, and now I'm
no, because you can make it from your bags now, from your bank, Diablo style.
Oh, see, now I didn't know that part.
You see?
Yeah,
I know about the deposit all things,
any of it. Yeah.
I'm telling you now, a lot of people, even in the chat room, they're
Still
like,
doesn't change things.
That's old Coltrane. Everyone knows that. I'm telling you, people that don't.
Right.
There are people out there that do not, and it's the holidays. We're trying to help each other out. Deposit all regions.
There's an add-on out there that will automatically deposit all your regions when you open your bank, so you don't even have to click the button anymore.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
It saves probably half a second every time I open my bank, which over the course of the day is probably a second and a half. So
gotcha.
Yes. And yes. This is breaking news, chat room. It is breaking.
Right. Of course it is. Of course. That's all we do on this show is just breaking news. That's it.
I'm glad you got your bag space back, though.
Yeah.
I do, man. I got like 40 spots. You know how amazing that is?
It is.
That's pretty cool. Darius, what's been going on in your world of Warcraft?
So I've been leveling my druid. I got my druid up to 100, my guardian druid. And I've been tanking a little bit on that. That's been a lot of fun. My Drew's been getting really, really lucky with gear, the opposite of my priest.
Yes.
I think garrisons have added a whole new layer of frustration for me to getting loot. So for the 630 items that you get from your garrison missions, so I've been doing a lot of like trinkets and things like that when I needed trinkets and other gear to fill in those slots.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I get, my character's set to discipline loot spec. Everything I get is either haste and versatility, or maybe haste and avoidance, or I got one trinket that was the spirit was split in half with speed. Most of them are on use damage trinkets.
Right.
It's the gear I'm getting is awful. I have 9 pieces of gear that are 645 or higher that I can't wear because the stats are so terrible.
Right. And we talked about this a little bit last week as well because Derevko was talking towards the end of the show about this stuff, and I relayed this story of yours that you were getting only haste stuff, which is incredible.
So bad.
It's pretty great.
So bad.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Come on.
So my Highmaul treasure quest completed this week. I got the same trinket I've gotten 3 times now.
Oof.
And it's haste and on use or on damage crit or something like that.
Yes.
It's so bad.
Oof.
That's great.
This gear is awful. And then my druid,
Mhm.
every time I roll something, it's perfectly statted and it's exactly what I need. It fills the slot that I need.
That's good.
It's exact opposite. It's so frustrating. I think I'm just
That's
gonna.
good.
delete my priest.
Right.
There it is.
So
Right.
frustrating.
I know that this week for me, one of the things that I did was I actually took a look and was thinking about professions, right? So I was looking at professions and for, as long as I've had my druid, it's been alchemy and herbing. So, I can go out and pick flowers and stuff like that. But guess what? No longer have to do that with the garrison, right? So I'm like looking at the professions to fill in. And I think I found the one. And it is actually blacksmithing.
Really?
Not for anything other than one thing, and that is to get the garrison building and to get it all up to level 2 real quick, and go and get that durability loss thing. So you can just click on that. You get a 4-hour buff so that you get 0 durability loss, which is perfect because our raid time is 4 hours a night when we do it, right? So it works out perfect. So I will never have to spend gold on repairs again. That is the plan. That is the plan. That's how I'm going to save money.
Good plan. That'll probably save you the more money than any of those other things could make you.
Because I take a lot of damage.
Because you wipe us a lot.
Right.
Yeah, a lot.
Right. So as long as I'm saving myself some gold, maybe I can get in on some of that, some of those, some of the GCG, the gentleman's gambling thing.
Oh, the chat room is saying when you die, the buff goes away.
Well, look at that. So there's going to be a lot of trips to the garrison.
Yeah, every wipe he's going to go back to the garrison.
Every wipe, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Darius, would you mind life gripping Zug into trash, and get him just get right out of the gate?
Yes, please do that. Please do that. That'd be great.
It's like boom.
That would be great.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Speaking of which, last week when we were raiding, I was having a really hard time because I was really sick, and I kept having these really bad coughing fits, and twice I was coughing really bad, and I would fat finger life grip while healing the tank.
Yes.
And I twice pulled the tank into an ability that then killed them because I was coughing so bad.
You pulled him into a suppression field on Ko'ragh.
I did on one. Yeah.
That was great. That was really. In fact, speaking
perfect.
of, we should probably talk about the Asparagus Initiative.
Oh yes, we probably should. Do I have music for it? That's the question.
That is the question.
I don't know. I've got this.
Play
though.
anything.
Gotta get back in time.
Yeah.
How about that? Let's just do that. Let's talk about the Asparagus Initiative and what's been going on with our team, with all three of us now back on the team.
That's right, baby.
And Darius, kick it off. What did we end up doing this last week?
We ended up killing some bosses.
Yeah.
Woo.
So we went in Sunday and cleared all the way up to what's the last guy? Impregnator?
Yes, the Impregnator.
Yeah. And we had a little bit of trouble on him. And we ended up losing a healer, so we dropped a few people. And then the next night we came in with kind of a lean group. And we killed him. And we went back into heroic mode.
Mhm.
And we either one or two shot everything up to... who did we get up to?
Ko'ragh.
Oh, we got up to Ko'ragh. That's right. We got all the way up to Ko'ragh.
Yep.
We got a few pulls on him.
Mhm.
And we did really well. So we're 5 of 7 heroic now.
Yeah.
And tonight we're going back in. We're gonna do pretty much the same thing, a normal clear.
Yep.
And then I think we're attempting mythic Ko'ragh tonight.
Yep.
And then we'll do heroic all the way up to Ko'ragh and hopefully kill him and Impregnator on heroic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big night.
Right.
We were really rolling bosses' heads on Monday. I mean, we were just rolling through them, and it was
Yes.
great.
And for that, we're going to give ourselves a big applause.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
These fights are awesome, man. It
Yeah.
was awesome. And like heroic Tectus is like absolute insanity. But it was great. It was like one of those raid nights where you're just like one shot a boss or two shot a boss. You're like, hey,
Right.
great job, guys. All right, so for this next boss, we do it, and then he's dead, and you're like, great. All right, let's move on to the next. Like,
That's
it was
awesome.
it was awesome, man. So yeah, went 5-7 heroic. It was great.
Tectus was a little craziness out in the ranged area. That's for
Ooh.
sure.
That's a nutty fight, man. That is a nutty fight, and especially because you get those dirt mounds, and
Yeah.
you can't see the swirlies underneath the dirt mounds.
Right.
That's rough for melee, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, the range was all over the place, especially when you have like, a couple of those guys up, like, what is it, 5 at one point?
Yeah.
And you have all the big swirlies, and then you have all the little swirlies, and they're all right in the same area.
They spawn the mountains that you have to go around.
Oh.
I saw a picture. This was on Reddit of a warlock, and the caption was, "They wanted to know why my DPS was so low," and his raid group had spawned 4 mountains around him, so he was stuck in the middle of the mountains for half the fight and couldn't move anywhere.
Didn't we have that? I'm wondering if we had that, or if it was just like LFR, because I did that as well this week, where basically half of the raid group was on one side and half the other was on the other. There was like a little narrow walkway that you could go through, just barely squeak through it. Right. I think that was on LFR because it was craziness on LFR. So
absolutely,
I don't know. The other thing that I did this week, by the way, guys, was I changed my race. I was Worgen for my druid. For my druid, I played Worgen since I switched to Alliance from being a troll. And so I switched again, and I went to Night Elf because of the new racial in Warlords, which is, 1% crit during the day, and at night, 1% haste. You get a little bonus. And I love haste as a resto druid, and we raid at night. So
it's a guarantee. That is the weirdest racial buff I've ever heard of. It's insane.
It's so strange. So when I'm doing all my farming during the daytime, I go as a crit chicken, which loves crit, right? So and then that's pretty awesome. I like it a lot.
Brilliant.
I like it. All right, let's move on to the news. But before we do, let's bring in our friends from Audible. Now, if you want to try Audible free for 30 days and get a free audiobook, go to audible.com/gamebreaker. That's where the stuff is. That's how you can get free stuff and support the show at the same time. Now, I wanted to actually take a look at a new book this week for the show. It is called The Martian by Andy Weir. And this is part of the description here. 6 days ago, astronaut Mark Watney became one of the first people to walk on Mars with the Ares program. Now he's sure he'll be the first person to die there. Ooh. Let's get into the book and have him explain it a little bit.
Ares 3, well, that was my mission. Okay, not mine, per se. Commander Lewis was in charge. I was just one of her crew. Actually, I was the very lowest-ranked member of the crew. I would only be in command of the mission if I were the only remaining person. What do you know? I'm in command. I wonder if this log will be recovered before the rest of the crew die of old age. I presume they got back to Earth all right. Guys, if you're reading this, it wasn't your fault. You did what you had to do. In your position, I would have done the same thing. I don't blame you, and I'm glad you survived.
It's kind of dark, right? I mean, that's pretty dark, but it's kind of cool, and it's witty and funny, and I've been listening to it a little bit, and it's pretty cool. So I wanted to share this with you. Again, it's called The Martian by Andy Weir, and he's going to have to draw upon a bunch of stuff if he's going to try to survive this whole thing. So he's in a pickle.
He certainly is.
He's in a pickle. And
he's on Mars.
And if you want to check it out, you can try Audible free for 30 days. Get your free audiobook at audible.com/gamebreaker. All right, there we go. Let's get into the news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening with raiding news around World of Warcraft. And first up, let's check in with the Race to World first. Let's just see. Last week we did the big bit that Darius was absent from, which is fine. Which is totally fine.
Yes.
And so let's check in. Where do we sit? And maybe Colt, if you could help us out. Where do we sit with stuff as it stands right now?
Well, you're putting me on the spot there,
I know
Johnny.
I am.
Holy cow. Well, let's chum the waters and see what we got here.
Charlie Tuna back on the show.
Swimming upstream.
That's right.
Well, it looks like, as we reported last week, Paragon number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 goes to Method.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 goes to I don't know how the heck you pronounce that.
Style War.
Style War?
Well, there's
Number
yes.
three-
Number 3 is Exorcist, or number 4 is Exorcist.
Yes.
That's you can't know it by looking at it, but that's what it is.
All right. So number 3 is Style War. Number 4, Ascension. Number 5, Envy. Number 6, Ascendance. Number 7, Practice. Number 8, Blood Legion. I always thought Blood Legion was 9. Number 9 is Rapid Eye Movement. Number 10 is Refuge.
That's what I have. I don't know what you're looking. I think you made it maybe off by one.
The link that was linked in the
It's just
show
WoW.
notes.
It's just WoW progress.
That's Guildox, and Guildox is not including
Right.
Chinese guilds
Right.
in their progress.
They are not.
Oh,
Yes, that is true.
Yes.
And
Well, I'm glad we linked Guildox in the show notes.
I also linked the other thing on the other. Anyway,
It's not there.
Darius, why did Guildox not do the Asian realms?
So Guildox has never included Asian realms, and maybe they just didn't include them this time. WoW Progress finally did, and the reason Guildox and WoW Progress haven't included them in the past is because in the past they've had double lockouts. Their raids reset on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think it is, or somewhere in there. They've also had higher eye levels on their gear, on average about 10 eye levels higher on the gear that drops. But all of that went away in Warlords. That's no longer the case.
Right.
They have the same amount of lockouts. They have the same exact gear. Everything is the same. Guildox, I believe, is still choosing not to include them for whatever reason. But WoW Progress, like I said, has them.
Right.
Now, there's some drama surrounding that, though, because right now it's Paragon, Method, and Style Wars in that order for World First. Style Wars is a Chinese guild.
Yeah.
They're also World First Alliance Guild,
Yes.
which no longer Midwinter. In fact, Midwinter is now 3rd in that list. An EU guild,
Right.
Danish Terrorists, this morning got 7 of 7, and Midwinter still doesn't have 7 of 7.
Right.
But Style War, from what's being told, is they, over the few weeks leading up to the Race to World First, and even during the week of Race to World First, were transferring their tunes from server to server, going to different black market auction houses, buying up all of the good gear that's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of guilds don't like that because either they didn't think of it first, or they didn't like the fact that you're spending real money, or whatever it is. A lot of guilds don't like that. WoW Progress doesn't
Right.
like that. They've said in the future, if a guild does this, they're not going to be included in the
really?
race.
Wow.
Now, the reason I don't like this is not because Style War did it, but it's Blizzard's. I don't like what Blizzard did. I don't like the fact that Blizzard put BlackRock Foundry Mythic Warforged gear on the black market auction houses in the first place.
Right.
Why would you
Right.
do that for a tier that's not even out yet? Why would you even put that on the black market auction house?
It does-
Who does that serve? What's the point of that?
It does seem a little silly to put stuff that isn't even out yet or not available at all and won't be until February now, as we realize, as far as, being a playable loot that you can get.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to get that until February now, but you can get it on the auction, on the black market auction house right now. And
I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the US and EU guilds are complaining and saying, "Oh, well, we didn't get that gear, and the Chinese, they got that on their black market auction house." Again, that's not Style War's fault. That's Blizzard's choosing and to put that gear on there.
Yeah.
And I just don't know why they did that. I get that it's happened in the past too, and I didn't agree with it in the past either.
Right.
But I mean, congrats to Style War and Paragon and Method and all those guilds that got this. They worked no less hard to get to it. They're crazy. And if you watch Style War's video, they even had I think like 4 or 5 girls in their guild, so that must have held them back. And I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Just making sure you're awake.
Wow.
Just making sure we're paying attention.
Wow.
But I will say though that yes, they did work hard, but there's also they had like a 10 eye level advantage, But then again,
Right.
I mean, everyone else, could have done this. I think Paragon they had some of these BMAH pieces as well. I mean, not as many as Style War, but.
Well,
But
and
I agree, though, that you shouldn't have BlackRock Foundry Mythic Warforged gear right now.
Well, and one of the real big things was that they kept on switching servers and doing this, so they're spending real life money as well as in-game currency, like a lot of it, to try to get that advantage. And so I kind of understand it. I wouldn't ever do it myself, but I
mean, ultimately the thing is, if there is a way to get an advantage in this race, somebody's going to find it and they're going to do it.
Right.
Whether it's whether it's doing something weird like in the previous raid race in the Throne of the Four or Terrace of Endless Springs, where people were using Dragon Soul 4-piece gear on their Guardian Druids to beat Sulong.
Right.
Anything weird like that, it could be totally obscure. Someone's going to find it and they're going to do it. In this case, the drama happens to be Style War and their black market auction house endeavors.
Right.
But ultimately, I hope Blizzard fixes this going forward.
Yeah.
I hope that they don't put this kind of stuff on the auction house until it's available.
Yep.
Don't just don't do that.
I agree. It is nice, however, to see some groups that haven't been on there before, like Ascension, who has always been. I think they've always been one of the top guilds in Oceanic, but it's nice to see them top 5. I mean, geez, that's crazy.
Well, they were technically a U.S. guild for the longest time because they didn't have their own servers.
Right.
But now that they've got their own servers, they're playing over there and they're doing really well. So congrats to those guys.
Yep.
And everyone else that really stepped it up this tier.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch, and like Paragon coming back, as we said last week. I mean, it's fantastic to see all these teams going head to head, doing the same content, doing everything exactly the same.
Yes, there's no more 10 and 25 arguments and all that jazz.
You don't have to worry about it. It's really cool. I like that part very much. And Blood Legion, even though they had like a really bad start, and I don't know exactly what was going on with those guys, but I know that Rignoros was out for a couple of different boss kills that they had, and he's always been the lead tank, pushing them through content. So I don't know what happened there, but they finished top 10, and that's great. They're still getting it done. And Midwinter, I mean, they have the last boss to go still. So, good luck to those guys as they move forward. Really, really pulling for these guys as we start to see who's getting into the top 20. So it's pretty cool. Anything else on the race to world first that you guys want to bring up?
Just, Paragon and Method, watch out. We're coming. The Asparagus Initiative, right behind you.
Right.
I think we're their biggest competition.
Oh, and the other thing to note is that Trekkie is he's going
to be the main tank of Asparagus Initiative.
Right. Well, he's not going to be with Method anymore. He's I don't know what he's doing. He's moving on to concentrate on his stream. That's what he said. So good luck to Trekkie as he moves on from that, and we'll get him on this show again soon, and maybe see what's new with him. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, Trekkie. Let's talk a little bit about LFR. LFR, people are dying in Wing 2. I don't know if you know this, guys.
Yes.
They are dying.
People are dying.
People are dying everywhere. LFR Wing 2 opened this week and and it has Tectus, Twin Ogron, Ko'ragh. Those are the 3 bosses of this one. The Wing 3 that will release in January is just going to have the last boss, Imperator, Margok. So, what did you guys think of LFR this week? Did you both try it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Colt, what's your first impression of this?
People are dying! They were, man. People ran in there. And they were like, oh, LFR is so easy right now. Oh, so-and-so is dead. I don't like the deaths, personally. Blizzard, I'm nervous. I think that LFR is in the best place it has ever been because it is easy, because that is its purpose. If you want LFR to be harder, there are 3 more difficulties available to you. LFR is supposed to be, as it was dubbed, and I'm sure Blizzard hates this, tourist mode. That's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Get in there, you get to see the fights, get to see the environments, get to kill some stuff, get some loot, and you're done. So this Wing 2 was a little bit more difficult. I'm just concerned because everyone's like, make LFR harder, and I'm concerned that Blizzard is going to do that. Think about this. When it's harder, you get more wipes, you get more uppercase. Everybody's blaming so and so's mama.
Yep.
It's just back and forth, and it's just horrible and awful.
Yeah.
So I hate to say this, but like keep LFR easy. That's its purpose. If people want something more difficult, there are 3 other difficulty modes.
Right.
So keep it easy. But yeah, so it was definitely a lot more harder. I mean, it's still easy, but a lot more deaths, a lot more like, oh, we got to actually heal here, and we got to actually do some version of mechanics here.
Yeah.
So
Well, and to be fair, so there were a lot of people standing in junk. A lot of people. And sometimes it was like half the raid because they didn't know it. So they were going in there blind, and they didn't know what was going on, and they don't have awareness built up, or I don't know what the situation was. Or maybe they thought that LFR was going to be tourist mode and that they didn't have to worry about any of the mechanics at all.
right.
They learned the hard way that you actually do have to look at mechanics at some point and say, okay, maybe I should step out of that. Or take a look at your own health bar and say, maybe I should move. Especially on like Ko'ragh, which wasn't bad. I mean, but my experience was that half the people in the raid died, roughly. Let's say 10 people died.
Right.
And it made the encounter longer, but we still cleared it in one shot.
Yes.
So, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was bad to see all the people dying that just went, oh, I'm just going to AFK.
Right. I mean, it wasn't as bad as, I mean, if you guys remember in Miss, like 7-8 stacks of determination.
Right.
You remember those days? Like, is that what you want? You want those days back? So, I mean, yes, there were a lot more deaths, but we did still clear it. So,
One of the things I've noticed is that in all previous LFRs, as in all raiding, if someone isn't doing their job, one person, they can wipe the raid. They can do something stupid. Who's that? The boss in Siege of Orgrimmar where he went into defensive stance.
right.
And you would attack him, and people would attack him in LFR, and you'd get all these Ravagers, and then the raid would wipe. Well, there's no more of those mechanics in LFR. There's not the ability for one person who's either trolling or doesn't know the mechanic at all to wipe the entire raid by screwing something up. So take Brackenspore, for example. If somebody runs in and picks up the flamethrower but has no idea how to do it, they're not going to wipe the raid. The moss grows so slowly that even if they're not doing anything at all,
it really does.
It's not going to kill the raid. I think that's the biggest positive improvement they've made.
So on Brackenspore, Brackenspore.
Yes.
It was funny because there's 2 of these flamethrowers, and when we got there, nobody went to pick them up. Nobody went to pick them up at all. And so I'm like, fine, I'll do it. I was on my hunter at the time, so I was like, fine, I'll do it. I'll try it out. After like 5 minutes of nobody picking it up, and that moss was so slow. That room was wide open pretty much the entire time. I think maybe I, got a few little piles of moss, but that was about it. That was about it.
That's it. There's
nothing going on.
Not a whole lot to do.
Nothing going on.
But I think that's the best thing, because you're not stuck with some troll who's trying to kill everybody. You're not stuck with somebody that just doesn't bother to look up mechanics or listen to anybody in chat or anything like that.
Right.
You're not worried about any of that. So
right. It's pretty fun still, and people are dying, so that's kind of interesting to me because I kind of enjoy that people can die and you can still clear. It's still okay. It makes the encounters a little bit longer, but it's still okay.
Yes.
And I think
Not
it was
those stacks of determination.
Was it just Ko'ragh that was the one where people were really dying to? Tectus, I guess, people were dying as well.
Ours, we had a lot of deaths on Tectus and Ko'ragh. Yeah, those were the big ones.
Yeah.
We had a lot of deaths on, but like we said, we still cleared it, which is great.
Yeah.
It wasn't like giant wipe fest and yo mama jokes, for the next 3 hours.
Didn't have a bunch of rage.
No, which was nice. Nice change for LFR.
That is good. Now let's talk a little bit about this post that World of Warcraft, that Blizzard put up about World of Warcraft in the new year, because there's a lot of controversial things that are going to be happening, or that they're looking into right now.
Just a little bit.
Blizzard announced more about the future of WoW and patch 6.1, which is scheduled for the PTR soon. TM, of course. In the works are the first ever legendary follower for your garrison, tweeting the deets to your friends from in-game, and of course this. New ways to play, it's entitled. It says, we're exploring the possibility of giving players a way to buy tradable game time tokens for the purpose of exchanging them in-game with other players for gold.
What?
I was so hoping you would do that. This is huge, guys. This is huge. Coltrane, other than what is your reaction to this?
Get ready to flex with Plex. This is a lot. People are going crazy over this.
Yes.
A lot of craziness. So this is something that started off, I believe, in EVE Online. They have a Flex or a Plex. It's called Plex system. Same type deal. You purchase this thing, you put it on the auction house in the game, and people buy it for gold. WildStar was another one. They call it Cred. Same type deal. You buy a little token thing on their website, so you pay real money for this token. You then take this token, you get it in-game mail, so it's mailed to your character, and you put it on the auction house for whatever amount, and then you sell it for gold. And they did this with WildStar and Cred, and I believe it was actually successful in both WildStar and in EVE Online. So now they are bringing this to World of Warcraft. At least that's their plan for now.
Oof.
And what do you guys think?
People are up in arms about this. I don't know. Darius, what do you think?
I think it's fine. I mean, I don't. Having lots of gold in this game is not a guaranteed way to succeed. I mean, there's only so many things you can buy with gold that are going to make you that much better of a player. You know, there's the occasional, as we talked about, item on the black market auction house, which you might be able to get with all this gold, but you're not going to be able to get raid gear aside from that. You know, you can't buy more raid gear from a raid with gold. You can't buy more PvP gear with gold. You know, you can buy maybe an extra bonus roll, but that's not going to guarantee you gear or anything like that. So, you know, allowing players to have lots of gold is not that big of a deal. My biggest worry is that it's going to inflate the price of gold so much that the gold that people do have that aren't buying gold is going to be worthless, similar to how Diablo went. That's my biggest worry.
Well, yeah, it's going to, you know, it may inflate prices on enchantments and other, you know, things that you can get right now on the regular auction house. And yeah, that could be really bad. So
it's interesting in the chat room. They're saying, but however, you can buy raid runs. You know, you see those being advertised a lot, like heroic or mythic clear. So
you've been able to buy those with real money to begin with anyway. So there's no difference there. Any top guild that does raid runs takes cold hard cash for those runs. So there's no difference. You know, you're still, if you've got extra money, you're still able to do it, whether it's in the form of gold or bling dollars.
Yep. But they're looking into this. And a lot of people have commented, you know, to us talking about Diablo. Kind of the comparison is Diablo, what happened with the auction house there, and, you know, real money auction house, all that kind of stuff. And it was an idea that kind of failed, that backfired for Blizzard, and they actually took it down. And so I'm wondering if this is going to be a much improved system or what. I mean, there's still a lot of questions for this, for sure.
I mean, people do this exact thing all the time. They will exchange gold for game time, whether it's going out and buying a card and giving it to someone, or buying them and gifting them time online or something like that. You know, this happens all the time. This is just a way for Blizzard to monetize on it. You know, more so. Well,
and it's a way to take the power out of gold sellers, right? So I mean, it takes away all of that stuff, and now now those people are kind of, you know, maybe won't be around as much. I don't know. I got a lot of group invites this week from Blizzard GML.
So did
yes, me too.
What was that about? I didn't know what that was.
I know, it's not.
They
a
were
Blizzard
like level
GM.
ones.
Yeah, they were not a Blizzard GM.
You don't think it's a Blizzard GM?
No, I don't think it's a Blizzard GM. I really don't think that. I was
like, "What's up, Hazakostas?" He's like, "They left group." I'm
right.
Like, oh, okay.
Right.
Peace out.
Exactly. So, yeah. So it's. I don't know.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Like, you with gold you can buy some of these BOEs. You can buy this, heroic level stuff. You see all these trash runs right now in the pre-made groups.
Right.
You're going to have a lot more gold that you can buy with. Personally, for me, I actually enjoyed this system in WildStar, and I also enjoyed this system in EVE Online, and I know people that also enjoyed it. There are people out there that love the auction house, that work that auction house, and have a surplus of gold. If they can then use that gold to pay for their subscription time, that's fantastic.
Right.
That's a great thing for them. This way, they don't have to pay the sub. They can use their in-game gold that they work hard for to cover their sub. There was something like this too in ArcAge as well. I remember that there were some players, I was playing that for a while, and they loved it. They felt proud that they were able to earn their month of subscription time through ArcAge. They have a very similar type of system. As far as how this goes, if people are going to buy gold, which is not something that any of us should do, I feel better, at least for their own safety, that they're at least doing it through Blizzard and not through some of these third-party websites that they can get viruses and hacks and malicious, all that kind of stuff. So I personally don't mind this system. I don't think it's going to... I understand the fears. I totally get the fears that all of a sudden you're going to start seeing items up for 600,000 gold and all this kind of stuff, and I understand the situation that happened with the Diablo 3 auction house. Let's just hope maybe Blizzard has learned a few things, over the years. But when I read this, my first thought was, oh, cool. Oh, sweet. Because I really enjoyed this in WildStar, and I also enjoyed it in EVE Online.
And I really need more gold on my character.
Yes, and I'm completely flat broke. So if I can use this $5 scratcher and, cover my costs, that's fantastic. So I'm happy about that.
That's cool. That's cool. And it's just being exchanged for game time, not for any kind of monetary gain for like real world dollars. You can't exchange it for that. I mean, it pays for your sub, but that's it. So I think as long as they keep it to a certain, as long as they minimize the impact real world dollars wise, I think that will help things in the long run too. So
and I want to have faith that Blizzard is going to do this correctly.
Yeah.
They've got a game of 10 million subscribers. They're not going to just throw something in and hope it works, especially something as far-reaching as this. So, I want to have that faith that whatever they decide is going to be the right decision. And it's going to work, and it's not going to ruin the game for everybody.
And just also consider that there are people in there that have plenty of game time, that have tons of time in game, and they can farm and get gold and do all this stuff. And there are other people that work really long hours, that have a lot of outside influence, be it family, be it work, whatever, and they don't have that gold. At the beginning of an expansion, everything's crazy expensive. Right? They can't afford a lot of these things. So if these people that are working these 80-hour-a-week jobs, if this is a way that they can get them some more gold to try and keep up, I think that's a good thing as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? It relieves the pressure. So it could possibly be a win-win on both sides. But that's just me. I'm like a glasses half full kind of guy, So that's just me.
It's definitely one of those things that we are going to be watching as it develops, and it's not coming. I don't think it's coming anytime soon. They haven't announced plans for when it's going to be released or anything like that. They're just saying in the new year we are developing this idea, and we're saying, okay, what does this mean if we do this? Let's take a look at all the different angles before we actually put it in the game and make sure that it works for us and for our players. So that's cool.
I might need to change my camera angle here. Apparently,
oh boy, there's a butt on the screen.
There we go. All right, this is for kids. We got to keep it kid friendly. All right, we're all age podcast.
Right, exactly. Now let's talk a little bit about other things that are coming into 6.1. Anyway, that we are aware of. First of all, legendary follower, an orange. Follower. Darius, are you expecting great things from this legendary follower?
I mean, yeah, I fully expect this follower to be able to not only do all of my garrison dailies, but on Sundays, Mondays, raid for me. So,
right.
If anything less than this, then I'm raging.
Just fill in for you whenever, we need an extra healer. Your legendary follower comes in and saves the day.
No, I fully expect the way my priest is going that this healer will be level 100. It'll be, orange quality, and every mission it goes on, it will fail. So
Sure, of course.
Or provide me gear for some class I'm not even playing.
That's true.
Of course.
It would be cool. Like, I think all of us, when we see our follower in our mine, we all think, like, when he's in the Lunar Fall excavation or whatever it is for the Horde, that you're like, can't you just mine for me?
Right.
Like, can you just, like, and then just mail it? Like, that'd be really great.
Why did I assign you to the mine in the first place if I didn't want you to just do it?
That's right. He's just standing around, just like walking around.
He's
like,
walking around. Maybe he's digging a little bit, but it doesn't go into your bag or anything like that. It
get
should
to
go in
work,
your
buddy.
right.
Got a freeloader over here. What's going on?
Back to the salt mines.
That would be awesome. If followers could like pick herbs or mine for you. Now, I know we sound lazy, but come on, we've all thought of it. When you see those little nodes and you're like, oh, the mine, I got to go do that. You know, we've all thought of it.
I mean, well, it's like the first time that you log into WoW for the day, you're like, okay, let's get my garrison set up.
There's
And
just
then
orange dots everywhere,
and then
yellow dots everywhere on my mini map.
Yeah, exactly. And then you think about it and you go, well, I have 3 alts that also have garrison. Maybe I should just knock out all my garrison stuff for the. And then 3 hours later, you're like, okay, now I can play.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh no, there's so much crap to do. I don't know.
But I do hope that this legendary follower, like, I'm sure it's just going to be an extra trait. Like right now, I believe epics, they have like 2 different counters, right, for your garrison. And I'm sure the legendary guy will have 3 or maybe 4, but it would be kind of cool if they like did something rather than just having like another counter because they're legendary. If they like did something for you, like it was a separate AI, you know, for the legendary.
Stood on your mailbox and danced naked asking for gold.
That would be awesome. Right. Something like that.
Dancing naked on your mailbox. Yep. I don't think so. Let's talk a little bit about this other feature that they came up with, which I thought was kind of weird. I mean,
this
I get
is
it.
the best feature they've announced.
I get it, but I don't want it. And it's
by far
tweeting from in-game. Okay, Darius, you talk about this.
You're going to be able to tweet and read tweets from in-game. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to set up an add-on that everything I do in game, every spell I cast will get tweeted out.
That's awesome.
That won't get weird at all.
No, Darius is now casting prayer of mending. Yeah. Now, oh man, your timeline is going to be incredible.
It's going to be great. I'm going to have all the followers.
It's too bad they don't have an integration with Facebook at that point. Might as well just do that.
I mean, this is awesome, but I don't see why.
Yeah.
Rhett CTR in our chat room is saying that Rift did this and it was awful. That's what he's saying that Rift did, and that he had to turn it off. So I don't know. We'll see. This seems kind of strange to me, but you never know. Maybe it'll be great, you know. But I don't know. It seems weird.
Yeah, like, it's the thing that I don't like is it takes you out of the game. It totally takes you out of the game. So now all of a sudden, instead of being immersed in this lovely world that they've created for you, now you're like, oh, now I can tweet my friends from inside the game. Okay, great. Let me grab Pepe and we'll just tweet the deets. I mean,
you'll be able to do it in game.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. It's like, we have conquered the ogres of Highmaul. Let's tweet about it.
Right.
Like, you're not going to see that. Like, my lords and ladies.
My biggest worry.
Hashtag YOLO. That's not going to happen.
Hashtag YOLO.
My biggest worry is that the more they integrate their in-game web browser into the game and the more they add to it, the more they leave themselves vulnerable to something nefarious happening, to someone figuring out a way to hook in through Twitter or through a tweet or something else and get into the game and do something terrible.
Right.
That's my biggest worry.
Right.
And I mean, is tweeting worth that? Is being able to send a tweet, you know, exposing yourself to the whole wide world of the internet through the in-game browser? I don't think so.
It's a way to tell the world, I am a WoW nerd. Look at me.
Yes. Nothing wrong with that. Look, we're growing. It's becoming more publicly aware. It's good. We're good.
I think that we are examples of what that might look like. We are WoW nerds. Look at us.
Yes. No, don't look at us. It's a terrible example.
Yeah, it's a terrible example.
It's terrible.
Now, there's also another new thing that they're working on, which is to make garrisons, to make visiting your friends' garrisons more rewarding. And that could include basically like a small group daily, or something like that. That's kind of what it looks like. I don't think that this is really going to get me to go to my friend's garrison more.
Well, you get those invasions. Those are kind of fun. You do that with a group of people. That's actually a lot of fun. I got me and Petunia, an epic medic, and we're like the invasion team, the three of us, and we rock it out, man. We get gold every time. Nice. But it's a lot of fun. So more stuff like this. It's kind of fun. You defend your buddy's garrison. I think it could be a good thing. I like it.
Yeah, I guess if they made it fun like that, then that would be okay. But if it's just like I don't know, go out to wherever and kill some things, that's not going to be great.
Yeah, well.
Darius,
they need to add a table in garrisons that is a Hearthstone game that allows you to play Hearthstone in WoW while sitting at your friend's garrison. That would be more rewarding.
I don't see that.
No,
I don't really see that.
Otherwise, I mean, how are they going to make me want to go to your garrison more? Like, I don't know.
Well, you'll get rewards for yourself. That's how they'll do it. Just like the invasions. Like I help out my buddy, and then I get a reward.
Right.
So they're just going to give me more gear that's not itemized or statted.
That has all haste all the time for you. Yes.
That's not more rewarding. Just help my friend out for nothing. I'm not really his friend.
Well, okay, let's move on to some more interesting things then. So one of the interesting things for 6 that they're working on for next year, I'm not sure if it's for 6.1, but the heirloom tab, which will be similar to the pets and mounts tabs that we have right now. It's the collection tabs again, and the toys and stuff like that. So now they're working on getting the heirloom tab up and rolling so that all of your heirlooms can just be on a tab, and then you can use it for whatever character you want. So that is cool. Better late than never on that.
Absolutely.
And the new Blood Elf models are coming, and those are for 6.1.
Right.
And so that's cool for those guys that play Horde. I don't know. The next exciting thing is that esports might be finally coming to WoW because of the war games skirmishes. Isn't that right, Darius?
Esport. The E is for elephant.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're allowing anybody to kind of spectate or commentate and do the live casting stuff they do for war game skirmishes, kind of like a spectator mode.
Yeah.
I think this is a long time coming, and I'm glad they're finally adding it into WoW.
Right.
I don't think we'll see it in raiding anytime soon, but it's cool that they're adding it to PvP. And I think it's gonna open a whole lot of stuff up. So
yeah. And for that, I'm going to give Blizzard the big applause as well for a couple of different things. Number one, for the heirloom tab, and then this for any kind of spectator mode at all. I'm kind of happy about this.
Absolutely. And I like what Darius said, too. This could lead to spectating raids, which would be incredible for us.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. But just spectating in general, this is a feature that people have wanted for years. So the fact that this is going in now, even if it's in the PvP world, is still great. It's still going to be fun to watch. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of, maybe we'll do some skirmishes for the CTR guild or something.
Yeah, man.
Do that for events, and then that way you can include more people, and especially for a big guild like ours, you can have a couple of different teams going at it and kind of putting it up on Twitch and on YouTube and saying, hey, here's how this went down, and here's some highlights, and here's some cool things. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that develops and what they're going to be doing with that, because
I've always felt like skirmishes were Blizzard's way of saying, let's get these big kind of more epic battles in like threes. You see in PvP all the time. Let's get something a little bit bigger, a little bit more grand going on. And let's make this popular, but it never caught on. You see people do skirmishes and war games and things like that for points and for gear, but it's never this huge thing. But I think if they add a spectator mode and people can start getting on Twitch and commentating these things, this will explode.
And it will drive more people to do PvP, which is great.
Yeah,
I think that could be a lot of fun as well. So that is cool. Now
convert to PvP this week.
That's right. It's all about PvP.
Get down with PvP. Get down with PvP. Get down with PvP.
right. Yes, and I think that wraps up kind of the news. Before we get to questions, we're going to move ahead to questions here. I want to talk about another one of our friends that has helped supporting this show, and that is Harrys.com. Harrys.com, if you go to Harrys.com, enter the promo code $5 off your first purchase, which is perfect. Now, right now, you may be thinking, oh, the new year is coming up, and maybe even a new look for you.
Should
look out. So, you could be like Darius and have the goatee going.
Right.
Or you could be
Harry's.
Or you could go to Harrys.com and just start fresh. Start with a fresh face. And you can get the starter set, which is an amazing deal. For $15, you get a razor, moisturizing shave cream, 3 razor blades, and you can get $5 off that. And it's perfect for the new year. New year, new you.
New fresh face.
That's right. So go to Harrys.com. Let's get into the mail.
We've got mail.
We do. And I just have to set up the shot. There we go. Okay.
Boom.
And if you have a question about anything for us about raiding or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttораid@gmail.com or call our raid line, 612-787-RAID. Colt, you want to help us out with this first one, bud?
Sure. This is the Q&A here, right? From Tassus on Dawnbringer.
That's the one.
Says, I have a question for all of you guys. I'm in a raiding guild, and we just recently had a discussion about stat priority and gear. Apparently, there's a thing that stats are more important than better eye-level gear. And our raid leader says that even if there is a piece of gear that's a higher item level but doesn't have your stats, you shouldn't take it no matter what. An example of this would be a weapon from a boss in normal Highmaul that has multi-strike and, let's say, haste. And it's a 655 eye level. But my weapon, my current one, which has a 636 eye level, has mastery and crit, which is my main 2 best stats besides intelligence. What I'm asking really is, should I get that better eye level gear even though it doesn't have my stats? Or should I stick with my lower eye level gear that has the perfect stats for me?
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Right. Okay, so Darius, you are experiencing this on your priest.
Yes. Yeah.
So what is the deal here?
So if you're looking at, in this case, you're looking at a 20 eye level upgrade, there's a really good chance that the intellect you're going to get, just the intellect you're going to get, is going to make up for the fact that the other 2 stats aren't as good. Now, multi-strike and haste are probably not awful stats. They're probably not great, but they're going to help you in some way. It's not like, having haste makes you do damage to yourself or something like that. So if you're getting a significant boost in intellect, that's going to make up for the mastery and crit that you might lose by having this better item. Now that's not all the cases, and again, if it's a 5 eye level increase, that's probably not it. But 20 eye levels, that's a lot of intellect. That's also a lot of stamina, which is going to help you survive. When you accidentally stand in something. So you're going to want to weigh it. I don't know. He doesn't say what class he plays or anything like that, but I'm willing to bet that multi-strike and haste aren't awful. They're not terrible. It's not as good as mastery and crit, but you're going to make up for it in that eye level or that intellect difference.
Yeah,
but you have to weigh it for every class. I don't think you can make a blanket statement that just says if it doesn't have your 2 main stats, then don't take it.
Right. Well, where do you think the breakdown really comes? Are you talking about? I mean, here we're talking about like 20 eye levels, right? But in reality, when you're looking at this stuff, should it be more like within the 10 eye levels range where it gets a little bit more nitpicky, or what?
You really have to do the math. Like if you don't take the 636 piece and you lose 1% mastery, but you gain 75 intellect, that 75 intellect is way worth way more than 1% mastery. That's what you need to look at. You need to look at the differences.
Right.
You can't just kind of go, like I said, by the 2 main stats. If you're losing 10% mastery and you're only gaining 50 intellect, it might not be worth it. You're not gonna make up for the raw output that you would get as opposed to the buff from mastery. And this is where understanding your secondary stats really, really helps. If you're losing 5% mastery but you're gaining 50 intellect, but maybe the multi-strike or the haste makes you cast faster or do more damage that's maybe another 2 or 3%, not the 5% for your mastery, then it'd be worth it. This is where you really need to understand your class. It's one of the reasons that in Asparagus Initiative we took out the ability for people to roll best in slot on things, because the gear is so all over the place and the stats are all over the place, and everyone is so specific in what they need. It's really hard to get a best in slot kind of thing, and sometimes there aren't.
Right.
You really have to weigh these things.
And I don't think we brought this up on this show, but we do Loot Council for Asparagus Initiative, and we have an add-on. What's it called? RC Loot Counselor or something like that?
Yeah, we use RC Loot Counselor.
So, and on that, you can display, you can have people pick, okay, no, this is going to be my 2 set, my 4 set, or this is my best in slot. Right now, best in slot is kind of weird because we know what stats you'll need based off of what class you play and what spec. But best in slot is just a weird thing to say right now. I don't know.
Yeah, we're at the point in an expansion and a tier where 1 or 2 pieces make a huge difference.
Yeah.
You're going from 3 or 630 gear, sometimes it's even less if you're getting unlucky in drops, to 655, 670 gear. I mean, that's the eye level difference is massive. The raw stats are massive change. So having one person say, "Oh, that's my best in slot," when they've already got a 655 and they're going to a 670,
Right.
might not make as much sense as giving someone with a 630 a 670 eye level, where it's a huge difference for them.
Yeah, trying to do the best for the team is kind of weird right now because stats are so all over the place.
And you've got the opportunity for tertiary stats and sockets and all that other stuff too. It's just it's crazy right now. Loot is a little weird, but
right.
Everybody's really got to understand their class and their stats in order to decide what's best for them. In the case of this caller, maybe that those 20 eye levels do make enough difference.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that we focus so much on our secondary stats, and we're so obsessed with our secondary stats that we forget about our primary stats.
Yeah,
it's called primary for a reason.
Yeah,
having more intellect is almost never a bad thing. Or agility or whatever.
Right. Just remember that.
Yeah, exactly. And also you got to know what's best for your team too. I mean, I think that any raid leader that says don't take this because your secondary stats aren't there no matter what, I think you're kind of turning that blind eye to what your team actually needs. And yeah, just be open about that stuff and figure out what loot is going to be best for your team moving forward. What's going to make you get past that next boss. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Next question, I will take. It's from CatJack 1997. It says, what kind of guild support structure is required in place to help a guild race to world first? So we're not talking about the team itself. We're not talking about how you need awesome players and they need to be awesome all the time, right? We're talking about what does the guild need to do? Those players that aren't raiding even. What do those guys need to do? What does the guild need to do to make sure that these players can get every ounce that they can out of this game at all times? And I know, Darius, you've played at top rank teams levels before. What kind of structure is there, or is there a structure at all that helps these world-class raiders out?
And every guild that I've been in, that's been a top 5 guild. The players that aren't raiding don't do anything to help the players that are raiding.
Awesome.
They're just there. It's always on the 25 or 30, the people that are in or subs or whatever. It's on them to do all the work to make sure that they're ready. And yeah, the guild might have a couple million gold saved up, and they'll buy BOEs and things like that, and they'll buy things in the black market and auction house. But that's all on the people that are raiding. The rest of the people just. There's not a whole lot going on there. It's not like they're farming mats for people or doing something like that. I mean, for the most part, they're just in the guild and not doing a whole lot towards the raid race itself.
Right. But the black market auction house stuff is a real thing, and these guys are getting gold for runs, especially towards the end of the expansion or the tier. They're selling runs.
The guild itself and the guild leader, raid leader, things like that, they'll fill in slots. Like if a tank just can't get a trinket, they'll buy one on the auction house or the black market auction house or something like that. But that's all within the raid team itself. That's all contained. It's all what you would think it would be. It's, finding food and flasks and making sure these things are leveled and those things are leveled, and people are getting the gear that they can't seem to get, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But that's all self-contained.
Gotcha. Colt, have you heard of anything else that as far as like guild support goes for these raiders or anything?
Yeah, get a sponsorship from Razer.
Oh, there you go.
That's what you do. You get sponsored by Razer, work on that first,
right,
and then start getting everybody ready for the race to World First. That's all you got to do.
Then you get free transfers essentially for all your different players. And,
exactly.
And
cool little logo, right? Little mouse pad. You're ready to go.
Right. Exactly.
So
cool.
No, everything Darius said is right on. That's pretty much it. So not much more to add to it.
Right. Gotcha. Now, did Darius? You didn't do your job this week.
If you
didn't do your job at all this week. I have a fun new look for us though, as far as getting out of the show, because it's the holidays. I thought I'd do something a little different. I thought I'd spice it up a little bit with some wintry look. Yes, and we can play. We could play this music.
Darius, we're stalling for you. You should not be
here.
looking at the holiday. You should be.
But it's so pretty.
Those reviews
so
ready.
Pretty.
We're stalling for you.
Right. So let's give a shout out to those guys that have given us a 5-star review on iTunes. And Darius should have had enough time to look it up right now.
We've got Kevin Lavia, DNB All-Star, Time Worm, and that's it.
Okay. Woo! Well, thank you guys very much, and happy holidays to everybody as we get out of here for sure. No show next week. We're gonna take that time to spend it with friends, family, traveling about probably, and raiding, of course. Any shout outs today?
I got plenty. I have so many shout outs, it's ridiculous.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna make this quick though.
Sure.
Big shout out to Zed and Call from Anatheron, and Sekra and Narina from Blackwater Raiders. We did a little Iron Docks.
Ooh.
And they mentioned that they listened to the show, so big shout out to them.
Awesome.
Also, big shout out to Callaway.
Okay.
And he's actually been listening since episode 0. And also a shout out to DJ Binary. And my last one is, of course, big shout out to Binky. And of course, to Angry Orc.
Oh,
big
yes.
Shout out to Angry Orc. He's a big favorite of the show and everything. He's an incredible guy. Always hilarious, always funny. But big shout out to Angry Orc.
Yep.
Good guy. We just want to thank you for everything he does.
He's very angry on the internet, but he's very sweet in real life.
He is. Yes,
he's the sweetest guy. Anything else? Darius, you got anything?
No shout-outs for me this week.
Oh, all right. I know that I talked to a bunch of different people this week, and I didn't write it down, unlike Coltrane, so I don't know the names exactly, but I want to thank everybody in the guild for joining us for yet more fun. If you're a part of the CTR Guild on Airy Peak, thank you guys for joining us. And, of course, thank you guys for listening to us for yet another year. We will come back in 2015, hopefully stronger, better, more entertaining, and who knows what else. But there we have it.
I hope everybody has a good Christmas and New Year's and
Winter Veil, all that kind of stuff.
Whatever you celebrate, have a wonderful holiday.
Exactly.
And they also
Be
did
safe.
a lot of those boot camps too. Big shout out to I've seen a lot of boot camp going on stuff in CTR. And for those not in Convert to Raid, the boot camps are essentially teaching you your class. An expert on the class gives a session and talks a class about that particular class. So, and I believe those are going to be released in audio and possibly some video format.
There will be some video stuff that is on YouTube right now. Check convertraid.com/guild. And we'll be putting up some stuff there, I believe. So check that stuff out. Go to our YouTube page over there, and you can see some of that stuff in action. And if you haven't noticed it yet, and you're in the guild, go to the events page, which is, again, convertraid.com/guild, and you can see what's coming up. Big shout out to Tur Arts and the event staff for putting that stuff together. It's been incredible.
Yeah,
as always. And of course, all the people that are putting this stuff on, that are sharing what they know about their class. Very, very cool. So there we have it. I'm going to bail on this music now.
Well, you're just gonna bail out? Just bail out of that?
Yeah, just gonna bail right out, and I'm gonna play. Let's see.
All right.
I'm gonna play this one, and it's not. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. We cannot do this show without you guys. Thank you guys for listening to us throughout 2014. And again, we'll be back in 2015. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. All that kind of stuff. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us wherever we are, and you can do that in so many different ways. You can email us at converttораid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, which is 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttораid, or even individually, right, Colt?
That's right. You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane. That's with a K. You can follow Coltrane at _Coltrane with a K. And you can follow Dairies at Board Mine.
Yes, and you can join the Bazooba Guabwa Nation by heading over to converttораid.com, where we have everything over there. On the main page, we have show downloads, forums, videos, audio, tons of links for raiders, and like tons more, especially if you go to the guild stuff. All the guild stuff is over there too. And our live feed and video show is all at gamebreaker.tv. Make sure to watch, like, comment, share, subscribe, blah, 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 whatever you do with these videos. That's awesome. The audio show is available on Stitcher, iTunes, wherever you find podcasts. And if you're not finding it on your podcast place, just let us know. We'll make sure to get it to you on your podcast downloader of choice. There we go. The Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends. Please do. Signalsmedia.com for the All-Star Network over there. And that's going to be it for the show and for the show for the year. Oh, look out. 2014 is done. We'll be back in 2015, and thank you so much for tuning in once again. We'll see you on our next show, January 4th, I think. Is that right?
So.
I don't know. It's first Sunday of January. And that will be at 11 a.m. Central. And for all the guys at Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you guys next
Happy
year.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Woo!